we have constructed first activity 6 hours 90 degrees, second one sleeping for 8 hours is 120 degrees, playing for 2 hours is 30 degrees. We have constructed there. Studying 4 hours 60 degrees, watching TV is 1 hour 50 degrees, and others is 3 hours 45 degrees. I have its alternatively the getting 45 degrees there. So we got all the angles by taking O as the center. We'll draw a circle. O as the center. Radius we can take as per our convenient. So as per our convenient, we take and we draw a circle. We need to use the compass to draw the circle. This is B. So these are the sectors we got in the circle. First one is this one, 90 degrees. It's for playing spoon, so we'll need spoon. And next one, 120 degrees sleep. This is for sleeping. This is for sleeping. So 30 degrees. 30 degrees is for playing. Next study. This is for studying. 50 degrees for watching TV. And next one is others. So this is a pie diagram. What this information we have represented on pie graph or pie diagram. Class 8 mathematics. Introduction to graphs. We taken any point. So just we place a point. Then, if you observe this point, it is left side of the board, and we take the board as a plane. The board as a plane, and it is left side of the board, and it is half of the angle of the board. And then, when we observe the measurements, it is left corner. It's a left corner of the board, and this from the bottom, some of the distance we have, like if it's taken any distance from the left, for example, it is 60 centimeters. It is 60 centimeters away from the left corner, and this is 200 centimeters bottom of the board. So if we look at any point, we're taking the two measurements from the left side and bottom. So by taking the base of the vertical line and horizontal, so like we have taken this corner from the vertical corner, this edge and the bottom. By taking the base of this corners, both the corners, we measure this point. From left side it is 60 centimeters, from bottom it is 200 centimeters. If you take any point from here, for example, the right hand side, then we consider from right hand side we have the line, right corner, and the bottom, it is 200 centimeters, that is 50 centimeters. So it is the point is here. Point is 50 centimeters from the right corner and 200 centimeters from bottom. So what we understood here is, if we locate, if you take any point and find out the location, we'll find between a vertical line and horizontal line. like, so from the vertical line, what is the distance from it? And from the bottom, nothing but horizontal line. So what is this distance from it? Vertical and horizontal. So we get a vertical line and horizontal line. If we take it this point, we got a vertical at this corner, left side of the corner is the vertical one, and bottom one is horizontal we call. So by taking the vertical and horizontal as a base, we measure this point, that is 60 and 200. So the 2 points we have taken, it comes from this. So from right hand side, this example, this is from this is 50 centimeters and 200 centimeters. So in this way, we take to locate any point, we locate that point, then the distance from the x-axis, the distance from the y-axis we take, and we say what is the distance from the origin. Like we take this board as a corner as an origin, so horizontal and vertical. We take one initial point, and from that we'll find out the distance from that point, particular point. So this vertical and horizontal comes from one of the concept, the interdiction, introduced by famous mathematician Descartes. Descartes, once he is observing one of the insect on the wall. So when he is observing the insect, so he got a doubt that what is the location of the insect on the wall. So it is one of the side of the corner of the wall. So and from the bottom, from the corner of the wall and the bottom of the wall, what is the location? He got a doubt of it. So what is the location of that insect? From that, the interdiction of the vertical line and horizontal line comes. So he introduced the vertical line and horizontal line. From that, we got coordinate system. We call this intersection of x-axis and y-axis. It's called as coordinate system. Coordinate axis, also we call coordinate axis. So he introduced this Cartesian geometry, Cartesian plane, Cartesian system. So further, we use these graphs, in particular graphs like the distance between two objects, to find out the location on the graph on the particular point on the earth. So to travel one place to another place. And so many ways we use this maps. The maps basically we use this geometry, this especially coordinate geometry we call Cartesian plane. By using this Cartesian system only, we find this Google Maps and vertical maps and everything. We travel and we find all the objects and distance between the objects, and we travel one place to another place. So for example, this is the origin, this is the origin place. So we need to travel to this particular point. So to travel to this particular point, so what is the distance we need to travel? So our coordinates are 600 and 200, x-axis and y-axis 600 and 200. So that's the reason. So we need to travel to this point. Main point is this. Either we can travel directly from this point, from the origin. So by using the Pythagorean theorem, because vertical axis and horizontal axis, it makes a right angle triangle. So from that hypotenuse it becomes hypotenuse. So we use the Pythagorean theorem to travel to this point. Otherwise we can travel through the horizontal line and go to this point. point, so 60 and 200, 260 centimeters. For example, we can convert that into meters and kilometers. Then to construct frequency distribution table, we need to have certain process. We have given some of the values here, the data, marks marked by 25 out of 25. By the 20 students have written one of the tests out of 25 marks. The marks are given here. These are 20 students' marks. And this data we need to take it as frequency distribution table, like group data. We need to make as group form. Then after, divide into some of the forms, like what are their class marks and class limits and boundaries. We need to find out all those things, and these all are together called as frequency distribution table. So let's find out the frequency distribution table now. First, before finding the frequency distribution table, we need to know what is the least mark and what is the highest mark. Observe what is the least mark here. The least mark here is 12. You can observe it's 24, 25, 23, 24, 20, 18, 16, 14, 12, 25. And there is, we can observe down the marks all, and there is a 16. But then the least mark is 12. Observe the highest marks in this. The highest marks we found is 25, because this exam is conducted for 25, so highest mark is 25. So here we got the least mark and highest mark. Now we can find out the class. So class is nothing but we need to make these marks as a group. So from one number to another number, how many people we got the marks between those numbers, or from starting point to some particular point, how many marks they got, how many students we got, we need to find out. So we call this as class. Actually we are making as a group. That group is called as class. So let's see. So least mark is 12. So start with 12. We start with 12 and take the class interval 5. We write 17 because 12 plus 5 is 17. Because 5 marks between 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Here 5. So this marks how many students got. We will write the beside of it. So that we call how many students we got. That we call frequency. And this is called group. What numbers we have choose. From where to where we have choose the numbers, the marks. That is called as group. That group is called as class. So class interval between the numbers, the difference is interval. So 12 to 17 is called as class. So this is a class. Make it as a group, that is class. So here, and usually we take 12 to 16 only. We take the 17 the next class. So these are called as exclusive classes. If it is here 12 to 17 and we start from 18, 23, so then we call these inclusive classes, because the class interval, you see, this is first starting of the letter, we call lower, then upper, starting one, lower boundary, and upper boundary we call it. So here the 17 is not repeating here. So 17 after we get next number 18, the lower boundary, the next group. So this is called as inclusive classes. For example, we take 12 to 17, 17 to, we add 5 to it, 22, and then we get the 17. This is repeating. These are called as exclusive classes, inclusive classes and exclusive classes. So we take the group first, class interval, and we find out boundaries, limits, class limits we'll find out. find out the class first. Class interval or class. Class interval, it starts from, you know, 12. So 12 to 17. So we take 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 only in this. So next one. 17 we take in the next class. 22. So we take here, actually here, 12 to 17, 17 to 22, 22 plus 5 is 27. But we don't have highest marks, 27. 25 is the highest, but we'll take from 22, 23, 24, 25 only we take here, because the class interval is 5, that's the reason we have taken 27 here, but highest marks is 25. So 23, 24, 25 only we take in this group. So here it is as it is from 12 to 16 and 17 to 21 we'll take it, 22, 25 we'll take here, only especially in these cases. Or if it is highest one, 27, we'll write 27 also, but marks are 25 only. So after class interval, we'll take class limits. Class limits are lower limit and upper limit. Lower limit and upper limit, and this. Observe here. So what is the lower limit in this? Is 12. And upper limit we call 17. Here 17 lower limit. We call first one is lower limit, and here this is upper limit we call the class interval, first one. The group, the class, what we have started with, that is called as lower limit. This is the lower limit. And where we end it, we call it upper limit. So 17 to 22 and 22 to 27. So these are class limits we call. And then next one is class size. Class size is nothing but find out what is the difference between lower limit and upper limit. 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Actually we got 5 here, we got 6 here, but we consider that is 5. The reason is the 7 is repeating in this. We count the 17 in this. That's the reason we count only 5 in this 12 to 17 as the 5 classes only, just because this 17 is counted in the next class. The upper boundary of the class, this class is counted in the lower boundary of next class. That's the reason we don't count 17. So 12 to 17, that means 12 to 16. The class size is 5. So the size is 5. Here also same as it is 5. We call class marks. We take the class marks. Class mark is nothing but, so we got here class size. Class size is nothing but the difference between lower boundary and upper boundary, that is we have discussed, that is 5. Between 17 and 22 we take only 21 because the upper boundary of this class becomes the lower boundary of next class. That's the reason we count this 17 to 21, it is 5. So next 21, 22 to 25, so it becomes 5. Because 22, 23, 24, 25, and we count here 5, just we got only 5. The reason is we got the highest marks are 25, that's the reason we got only just 4 observations here. But we consider this 27, 22 to 27, we consider only this, we call this 26, 5 we consider, we will not consider 27 because the highest mass is 25. That's the reason we need to take up to 25 only. So this is the class groups we call, these are the groups, the class groups. And lower boundary we have discussed, this is the lower boundary and upper boundary. The class size, the class mark is nothing but we take the average of lower boundary and upper boundary. Let's take the lower boundary plus upper boundary divided by 2 because we have taken 2 observations to these. So we find the average of it. That's 12 plus 70 is divided by 2. So we do 12 plus 70 divided by 2 is 29 by 2 is 14.5. So we get 29 by 2. So when we divide, we get 14.5. The next class mark is we divide this both. So we add this both numbers 17 plus 22 divided by 2. We get here 39 by 2. So here one time 19.5. We get 19.5. And this we get 19.5. And the next class is 22 to 27. So 22 plus 27 divided by 2 is 49 by 2. So 24.5. So class marks are nothing but average of lower boundary and upper boundary. And we got here that is 14.5 and 19.5. Also 24.5 are the class marks we got. So this class marks, when we observe this class marks, the difference between 14.5 and 19.5 is nothing but 5. It's a class interval, length of the class interval from 12 to 17, how much we have taken. Class interval, length of the class interval, and 19.5 to 24.5. We find the difference between those and we get 5 as a difference. So class interval, that is. The next one is class boundaries. Class boundaries. Here in the class boundaries we have true upper limits and true lower limits and true upper limits. What are the true upper limits and true lower limits? Are when we get the class interval is in inclusive classes, that time we will be getting class boundaries as repeated, like we change them to exclusive classes and we take the exact boundaries, class boundaries we call. So here actually these classes are exclusive classes because the upper boundary of this class is repeating as a lower boundary of next class. That's the reason we call this exclusive classes. If it is not repeating, we call inclusive classes. In that cases, we change this class interval as exclusive classes by taking the boundaries. Then we write their class boundaries. So here we do not change anything. So we write the same as it is. So lower boundaries, upper boundaries, so lower boundaries and upper boundaries. When we write, it's the same as it is, like the lower limits and upper limits. 12, 17. In this case, it will be similar. For inclusive classes, we need to change them and write. So 17, 22, and 22, 27. So this is a frequency distribution table. When we get some of the information represented as a frequency distribution table, we'll represent in this form. That is class interval, class limits, class size, class mark, and class boundary.